Hello everyone, I am back with another video today. So I am doing another no-bake recipe this week. It's definitely not as hot out as it was last week. Um, but this recipe just sounded so good that I wanted to give it a try. It is a lemon blueberry tiramisu. It's from eatinghealthy.com or eatingwell.com. Pretty sure it's eatinghealthy.com, but I will double check on that and let you know exactly where I found it when I do my final thoughts. And I will also have the recipe linked in the description box for you guys if you guys want to check it out, or make it yourself like I normally do when we are doing recipes that can be found online. I love anything blueberry. Blueberry is my favorite fruit. It always has been. Even as a little girl, I've always loved blueberries. Um, don't know why, but I've always loved them. So blueberry lemon is always a really good combination as well. And everything. This did look pretty simple to make. Like most tiramisus, it's a little bit of a wait before you can eat them, just because they do have to set up and everything like that. But actual assembly and mixing everything up didn't look too bad. It is also egg free, which is one thing I definitely look for when I'm making tiramisu. Um, just because I'm always nervous about having the raw egg in my tiramisu, even though I know traditionally there is egg in tiramisu and everything. It just makes me a little bit nervous. So I always, when I make it, that is one of the things I do look for in the recipe. And usually if it does call for the raw eggs, I usually do skip it and find a different recipe. So there is that. But yeah, so let's get started because I can't wait to try this. Okay, so the blueberry lemon tiramisu is going to be kind of done in like a two-step process. The first step is going to be making a blueberry compote, and then the second step will be assembling the actual tiramisu. There was a note on the recipe that said you could use store-bought tiramisu if you want, or not tiramisu, but compote if you wanted. I am opting to do the homemade compote recipe that came with the recipe and everything, just to kind of give that a try. And just because I do prefer to use homemade when I can and everything. It looked pretty simple. Basically, all of the ingredients are going to go into a saucepan and get cooked together and everything. So we will be using some blueberries, of course. These were some frozen ones that I had on hand. I didn't really want to go out and buy some fresh blueberries when I knew I had some in my freezer. But if you have fresh blueberries, definitely use those as well. We've got lemon juice, vanilla, sugar, and some salt. So let's get this cooking. All right, so I have added all the ingredients to my pan here. I'm just going to mix those up and let it cook until the blueberries have broken down and the mixture has reduced. It said about 10 minutes. My blueberries are still slightly frozen, so it might take me a little bit longer. But once I have this all cooked, I will show you guys what it looks like. All right, so I brought our blueberry mixture to a lively simmer. I did turn down my heat, and we're just going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes until the blueberries are broken down and it has reduced. Once that is done, I will show you guys what this looks like. All right, so I have the compote finished. I did pour it into a bowl here. It looks really good. It smells fantastic. I can't wait to have this tiramisu. So I am actually making this the day before I'm planning on making the tiramisu. Um, just because I did want to let this sit overnight and cool completely. You can definitely make this the day that you are planning to make the tiramisu. The recipe did say to let it cool for at least 45 minutes in the refrigerator before assembling the tiramisu. For me, it was just easier to make it the day before, and this way I don't have to worry about it being warm or anything. I know it's going to be completely cool when I go to make the tiramisu. So I will be back tomorrow finishing up this tiramisu. Okay, so it is now the next day. So let's get started with the second part of this, which is making the actual lemon blueberry tiramisu. So we have the blueberry compote that I made yesterday, which looks really good. I can't wait to give it a try. I might make this compote again to have over pancakes or waffles sometime because I think it would be really good on that. And it was super simple to make. But for now, let's focus on the rest of the ingredients that we will be needing for the tiramisu. We've got some lemon zest here, lemon juice, we've got heavy cream, we've got some water, we've got some sugar, which is divided. Of course, we've got our mascarpone cheese, we've got some salt, our ladyfingers, because you can't have tiramisu without those. And then we have some more blueberries here. So that is everything that we will be needing for the lemon blueberry tiramisu. So let's get started. All right, so in here I have the lemon juice and the water. I'm going to actually give this a quick stir here. And then I am going to put this in the microwave and heat it till it's just starting to boil. Once I have that done, I will be back. All right, so I have that warmed up. We are going to add the smaller amount of sugar and we are going to just whisk that until it is dissolved. And then I am going to stick this in the refrigerator until we are ready to use it. Once I have this done, I will be back and we will continue with the next step. All right, so in here I have the whipping cream, sugar, the remaining sugar, salt, and there's also vanilla that I forgot to get out and mention earlier, but there is some vanilla in here. I am going to whip this up and then I will show you guys what this looks like. All right, so I have the whipped cream done. We are going to add in the mascarpone cheese. I'm going to add a little bit and kind of whisk that in and then fold in the rest. Once I have that done, I will show you guys what it looks like. All right, so I've got the mascarpone cheese folded into the whipped cream. I'm going to add the lemon zest. So I didn't see that the lemon zest was kind of divided between the filling and the topping of the tiramisu. I am just going to put it all in the filling. It'll be fine. And then just top it with the blueberries and we'll be good. So once I have that lemon zest mixed in with the mascarpone mixture, I will be back. All right, so the filling is done. I did take the lemon mixture out of my refrigerator. I am going to dip the ladyfingers in the lemon mixture and put them in my pan, and then we will spread some of the mascarpone cheese mixture on top of that and then top that with the blueberry compote. Once I have the first layer of ladyfingers in my pan, I will be back. Okay, so my first layer of ladyfingers is done. I've dipped them in the lemon mixture and have them arranged in my pan. I did kind of bring some down to get it to fit in there nice. I am going to spread a layer of the mascarpone mixture on top of this and then top it with the blueberry compote. Once I have that done, I will show you guys what this looks like. Alright, so I've got that done. I am going to add another layer of ladyfingers and the rest of the mascarpone mixture on this, and then top it with some more blueberries, just regular blueberries this time, not compote. And once I have this finished, I will show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so I have that done. It does look really nice with the layers in it. I am going to cover this and let this sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow I will show you guys what it looks like when it is ready to serve. Alright, so I did cut this and I am going to give this a try. I just wanted you guys to see it after it has set. After I've had some of this, I will be back with my final thoughts. Alright, so I am back with my final thoughts on the Lemon Blueberry Tiramisu from eatingwell.com. It was good and everything. I just don't know if I'd be inclined to make it again, just because this did kind of turn into like a 3-day process, with day 1 being making the blueberry compote, day 2 making the tiramisu, and day 3 finally being able to eat it. Maybe if I would have made the compote the day I made the tiramisu, it might not have felt so bad, but the compote did have to cool completely, so it still would have been a long process to make. It is definitely something worth trying, especially if you're not a big fan of the traditional coffee flavored tiramisu and everything. Just because this did have like a nice summery fruity flavor to it with the lemon and the blueberry in it. Just however, I still prefer the regular traditional coffee flavored tiramisu over this one. The recipe that I do make for my tiramisu is super quick. I can whip the whole thing up in maybe a half hour and then let it sit overnight, and it's ready to eat, and it always turns out fabulous. I do have a video on that. I will link that video in the description box as well. And just, this was just too much of like a lengthy process for me, just because I did have to start so far ahead of when I was planning on serving this. But it is still something definitely worth trying. Using a store-bought blueberry compote would definitely shorten the amount of time it takes to make this. You could, if you use a store-bought compote, it could be made all in one day and then set overnight and be ready to enjoy the next day. I do think the compote is definitely worth making. Definitely something that would be good over pancakes or waffles or like ice cream or something like that, just kind of like a blueberry topping. So I definitely will be hanging on to the compote recipe just for that. I probably will hang on to this anyway, just because it was good. It's just probably not one of those recipes I'm going to make a lot, just because, one, it is kind of a pricey dessert, and two, the regular tiramisu, at least in my opinion, is better, and everything. And if I make a tiramisu, it's probably going to be the more traditional type in the future. But give it a try. If you've made this, if you made something similar, let me know how you liked it, what you thought. Do you like the fruity tiramisus better than the coffee ones, or do you prefer the traditional, more coffee flavored tiramisus? Next week we will be back with baking yesteryear, hopefully. That's my plan, at least, is to jump back into baking yesteryear, with starting the 1940s chapter with the peanut butter styrofoam cookie recipe, which I am really looking forward to giving a try. So please make sure you're subscribed, please like this video, please share it, and until next week, good times, good food. Bye.